PBC, we just saw the best at 118 pounds in John Riel Casimiro, long, of course, in that division. So many studs like the aforementioned Inoue and, of course, Ubali. But now at 122, Steve Farhood, our boxing historian, a lot of notables as well.
Mo, you heard Brian Custer say that Figueroa is calling for some of the other champions. Well, these are the fighters he's talking about. And keep in mind that when Luis Neri fights Aaron Alameda later tonight, there'll be a fifth fighter joining this list. What you notice, they're all undefeated, which makes the prospect of a potential unification bout for any of them that much more appealing. And keep in mind also, Angelo Leo, recently crowned, he will be looking to fight Stephen Fulton coming soon.
So here we go. 122-pound title tilt as Vazquez said he wants to go toe-to-toe with the Texas Tornado. I gotta say, if this scrap is 1/10 as good as the legendary battles between Vazquez's uncle, Israel Vazquez, and Rafael Marquez, this action is going to be, say it with me, and fuego.
What's that?
Here's Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Oh, here, okay, you got it. Thank you.
Well, fans, we are ready for our super bantamweight world title attraction. Now making his way to the ring, here is the challenger from Nogales, Sonora, Mexico, Aaron Alameda.
Vazquez, 23 years of age, has some Sasquatch-sized shoes to fill when it comes to what his uncle accomplished in this weight class. He reigned as champion on 3 different occasions, but Vazquez is attempting to defy the odds makers by thwarting the blitzkrieg attack of Brandon Figueroa.
You know, if this is the first time you're seeing Brandon Figueroa, he has a hell-bent for leather style, and he averages over 100 punches thrown around. No, I didn't make a mistake. That's what it is. Over 100 punches thrown around. He's excited.
Running back. One in, 3 out.
This is Damien Vazquez, who is going to be challenging Figueroa for his belt.
Damien, let me check you out here, champ.
We got a stacked card tonight, and of course, 6 title fights. It happens to the best of us. Here once again is the inimitable Jimmy Lennon Jr.
And now joining us to the blue corner, here is the undefeated world champion from Weslaco, Texas, Brandon the Heartbreaker Figueroa.
Another 23-year-old Brandon Figueroa may possess leading man looks, but he's more interested in proving he is the leading man in his division. Coming off the lone blemish of his promising career, a hard-fought 12-round draw versus former titleist Julio Ceja, who missed weight. But get this, Abner, alluding to what Al said, the two of them using their hands more than a masseuse, exchanging a staggering 2,800 punches.
It was a great fight, a fight I think that made Brandon Figueroa a better fighter. Ceja brought it in, you know, it was a close fight. He got a draw, but at the end of the day, we are going to see a better Brandon Figueroa tonight.
Let's take a look at the tail of the tape for these two men. For Figueroa, you know, he has the height and the reach advantage, and he's a very big 122-pound fighter, and that's going to be a big challenge for Vazquez.
Let's go back to Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Mohegan Sun Arena here in Uncasville, Connecticut, Premier Boxing Champions presents our next world title attraction, brought to you by Lions Only Promotions, TGB Promotions, and Showtime. This bout is sanctioned by the WBA, the President Gilberto Jesus Mendoza. Judging at ringside, from Avon, Connecticut, Glenn Feldman. From Flushing, New York, John McKay. And from Noank, Connecticut, Don Torella. And we introduce our third man in the ring, the referee in charge of the action, Gary Rosato. All right, fans, here we go. 12 rounds of boxing scheduled for the WBA Super Bantamweight Championship of the World. Introducing to you first the challenger. On my left, he is fighting out of the red corner, wearing black trunks with white, red, and green trim, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada. He weighed in at 121 1/2 pounds. His record stands at 15 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw, with 8 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight, he is making his first attempt at a world title. Here is the challenger and world-ranked southpaw contender, introducing Damien "Sugar" Vazquez. And his opponent across the ring, the defending world champion, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white trunks with blue trim, hailing from and representing his home of Weslaco, Texas. He weighed in at the super bantamweight limit of 122 pounds. He is undefeated in his campaign in the ring with a record of 20 wins, no losses, 1 draw, with 15 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight, making his Showtime debut, here is the young, talented, and undefeated super bantamweight champion of the world, introducing Brandon, the Heartbreaker Figueroa. And a referee in charge now to give instructions. Once again, we have Gary Rosato.
Take everything off. Mouthpiece. Mouthpiece. Okay, Damien, Brandon gave you specific detailed instructions in the locker room. I'm only going to tell you 2 things. Protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands at all times. Touch gloves, bang at the bell. God bless.
No nonsense. Gary Rosato, with over 2 decades experience as a pro referee, working his 868th professional bout.
So in the introductions, Jimmy and I teaming up to confuse you a little bit on who's coming in and who's here, but a lot of fighters and a lot of 122-pound fighters. But one thing we're not confused about is that this could turn into a really excellent match.
Well said, Mr. Bernstein. We are family. We are all in this together. And Figueroa, who is the titleist, white and blue. Vazquez in the black, white, red, and green. And Al, you mentioned it, over an astounding 100 punches per round in Figueroa's last fight. It should come as no surprise that he threw more punches at 122 than anyone else in a round.
Yeah, not shocking at all. He is just so active. There are 2 things that that are noteworthy about him. A, that he's so active, and B, he starts with the body attack. That's where his attack begins.
We saw a lot of body attacks in our opener as John Real Casimiro defended his title at 118. Figueroa putting his strap on the line against Damien Vazquez. Abner, what do you like about Vazquez coming into this championship opportunity?
I like the fact that he's standing his ground. He's waiting for Figueroa to come in. I'm seeing a Figueroa, a guy that's changing a little bit, trying to box, trying to switch up. He did mention that. He did say that he's not going to try to go all forward like always.
The interesting thing about Vazquez is, on one hand, he says, I want to get on the inside, but I actually think he's going to fight more at mid-range, get in and get out. That's what I think is strategy. And so far, he's executing it.
Yeah, Figueroa already switching stances, and Vazquez saying this is going to be a full-on Mexican war. All of the technique is going right out the window. He wants to make it a phone booth fight and steal the show, and they may be well on their way to doing so. Oh, and he catches Figueroa with that left.
And one of the issues for Figueroa is his defensive issues. He said, I work out, good left hand by him. I work on it all the time, but I'm an aggressive fighter. I'm going to get hit, and he does.
Some sharp exchanges at close quarters, so they are delivering as advertised in the final minute of the opening round, and a double jab well executed by Vazquez.
Take your time.
And that's a great way to get the control back. And Damien Vazquez, setting up the jab, having Figueroa on the outside.
Final half minute, and that jab by Vazquez, pretty educated, Al.
He's got an excellent jab, and again, he's giving some lateral movement to Figueroa as well, which is important.
Power shots through 3 minutes of scintillating action in this 122-pound title tilt. Vazquez is the underdog, but every underdog can have its day, but what a start.
Let's take a look at the keys to victory for these two men, and we will start with Figueroa. I say cut off the ring, because I do think that Vazquez is going to give him some of the lateral movement that he did toward the end of that round. The body attack is very important for him. He was able to do that some in the first round. Now, Vazquez has been hurt and hit with big left hands, and whether it's from the right hand or left-handed stance, Figueroa can get that punch in. As for Vazquez, combinations are important, and guess what? He threw those in the first round. And when I say get in, get out, he did it. You get in, you throw your combinations, you retreat, and you reset. And he's got to stay off the ropes. Right toward the end of that round, we saw him get caught on the ropes. Doesn't want to do that against Figueroa.
The bell and round 2, and I know it's a small sample size, just a round, but Vazquez said he was going to make this a Mexican war, and then the opening 3 minutes, he proved he can give as good as he gets.
The last lefty that Figueroa faced was 9 fights ago. So he's kind of getting used to the idea of facing one. And now, you think Vazquez is using his jab enough?
Yeah, Vazquez facing a southpaw now in Figueroa, who switches stances. Figueroa coming forward from southpaw now. They clinch along the ropes.
Damien Vazquez does a great job in the inside, but I think he's better in the outside. Jabbing, 1-2, giving lateral movements to Figueroa, something that he's never comfortable with, and that's when we see him switching right to left.
Figueroa with a decided reach advantage, but it has been Vazquez with a sharper jab, and Vazquez going to the body with a nice combination.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic that Vazquez would be better on the outside with the jab, with the height and reach advantage of Figueroa, but with the lateral movement in his hand speed, he is.
Vazquez acquitting himself incredibly well. Power jab, a right hand around the guard. And he is keeping up with the champion. And the punches last round, they indicate that.
Yeah, very good round, more accuracy for Vazquez. And the key to this so far, the whole key is the Vazquez jab, which has been really excellent. And you see Figueroa now as a lefty. He will switch instinctively, and then sometimes he'll switch because of strategy.
Figueroa beginning to put together combinations now as Vazquez maybe trying to collect data, Abner, see what Figueroa has.
And the difference between Vazquez and Figueroa on the jab, Figueroa doesn't throw the jab to get a distance, he throws it to get in.
And Figueroa in that mid-exchange, caught Vazquez with that straight left and another left cross. Tags the judge of Vazquez. That's the fight, Al. This is amazing start, these two fights.
It really is. That's the punch that you can hit Vazquez with, the left hand. I've seen righties do it and lefties do it. He's got to keep that right hand up a little more.
Good combination, 3-punch combo by Figueroa. There's some head movement, slipping the double jab of Vazquez, catching Vazquez with a left. Nice left hand from Vazquez. Toe-to-toe we go in just the second round.
Punch out, punch out, punch out. Let's go. Get the hands going.
And they are placing their punches well and in different areas.
Punch out.
Exchange of uppercuts on the inside. Did someone say phone booth fight? If they don't exist, they do in our ring tonight.
No punching after the bell. Time.
We mentioned that the left hand would be a good weapon for Figueroa. Whether he's a righty throwing it as a hook, or in this case, a lefty throwing the straight left hand. He uses the jab very effectively and then comes with that left hand behind it. And another look will show you how that was accomplished. The jab and then the left hand. And and we're going to see a lot of that of Figueroa as we go on. There were some great exchanges in the last round, and here's an example of it. Vazquez leading off with getting hit with that counter left hand and throwing his own left in response to Figueroa. They're trying to punch with each other, and it's creating some good action.
Some ringside observers that I talked to wondered if Vazquez would be big enough and strong enough to threaten Figueroa and to fight the kind of fight he says he's going to fight, that, quote, Mexican war, close quote. What do you think thus far, Abner?
Oh, he's definitely showing a chin. You know, he's staying in the pocket, like I said. He can work in there, too. He's got sneaky little uppercuts and body shot, talking about Vazquez. But once he gets that jab going, it's the fight he wants in the outside.
But here's the thing. He is showing enough angles and enough movement to not just stand in front of Figueroa, because if you do that, you got a real problem.
Like we should be surprised when it was announced it was an all-Mexican battle.
Watch your hands, let them go, let your arms out. Break! No punches, step back. Watch your hands coming in. Go, Brandon.
Figueroa has fought, he told us that he wanted to fight less as a lefty than he has been in the past. We've seen him a lot in the left-handed stance. Now he's back to righty.
Vazquez continued to make that investment to the body, hoping that it will reap dividends the longer this fight goes. Figueroa chopping left cross. There's Figueroa rips a couple of shots to the body and an uppercut on the inside.
Uppercut, Brandon!
And he had Vazquez on the ropes there momentarily. That body work of Figueroa is excellent.
Both of them have displayed some quality body work, but now Figueroa going over the top. And there's some footwork on display. Man, we're seeing it all here.
That's what I'm talking about. Vazquez is so good in the inside too. He's got body work. I mean, the guy keeps fighting the inside too, but again, he needs to keep this fight in the outside. Easier said than done, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Figueroa is a guy that just keeps coming.
And you talk about being motivated for a title opportunity. Vazquez losing a one-sided bout to former titleist Juan Carlos Payano, who we are going to see on the pay-per-view. When he was 21, he said it was too soon, and he's tried to put his mechanics together. And Al, of course, with age comes wisdom and maturity.
Yeah, and you know, Vazquez, really, many people thought he didn't even deserve this shot, to be perfectly candid. And he is performing, he's probably fighting the best fight so far of his pro career.
Hey, Al, he's fighting like people didn't think he deserved the title shot. He's giving it to them. He's answering the critics.
Yeah, that's it.
Figueroa and Vazquez at close quarters. They continue to throw at the same time, and there's that jab again, an up jab from Vazquez.
One thing Figueroa is not doing, which I mentioned in the keys, is cutting the ring off. He's allowing Vazquez to move around at will.
And I believe Vazquez beginning to gain confidence when he's able to utilize the real estate as front face lock. I remember when I used to call those holds.
Yes.
Let's go, Damien, let's go.
Figueroa, left hook to the liver, uppercut, and we've seen some action. Gets a little chippy at times, left hook over the top by Vazquez.
Now, Vazquez getting caught in a place he doesn't want to be against the ropes, and that's Figueroa doing some great body work and also coming back to the head. But you see Vazquez saying, I'm not supposed to be here. I better move away. And later on in the round, again, pushing Vazquez against the ropes. And this is where he did that really good body work, Figueroa. He's just a superb body puncher. And he was able to keep him there enough to get a little work done. So there's a lot going on in that ring.
Keep your distance.
It's out.
Well, in a sport that features more belts than Gucci, the full champ at 122, Muradjan Akhmadaliev. And so Brandon Figueroa wanting to prove that his title is worth something here in the fourth round.
And we're going to see the man who lost Akhmadaliev, Danny Roman, of course, in the second part of our doubleheader. It was a very close fight between Roman and Akhmadaliev, but a demonstration of how good this division is. You know, it's not surprising to see Vazquez show some skills because his trainer is the great Joel Casamayor, who was one of the most skillful fighters at junior lightweight and lightweight that ever laced on gloves.
1992 Olympic gold medalist and retired in 2011, but like you say, I'm now in the corner of Damien Vazquez as Vazquez and Figueroa exchanging jabs. Figueroa utilizing his jab, going to the body, but a counter left uppercut for Vazquez, and he goes back to the uppercut well.
A subtle change in this fight because Figueroa is pushing him to the ropes more often, and Figueroa is using his own jab much better than he did early in the match.
Abner, you have a more trained eye than I do, at least. There's so much action going on. Anything you're picking up on?
I see that Figueroa is being able to get in easier than he was in the previous rounds. That's because he established a jab now. He's countering on top of that jab also, Vazquez. And obviously the body work that he starts early in the fight, always.
Figueroa with 15 of his 20 victories via form of knockout, but he is high-volume puncher, and Vazquez pleading his case, thought that was a rabbit punch. Referee said it was on the side, and they just continue to chuck leather at a terrific pace. As we head to the final 60 seconds of the fourth, Vazquez being backed up by Figueroa along the ropes.
Figueroa has already thrown 74 punches this round, and he's landing 50% of his shots according to show stats. So he is showing us the full Figueroa package.
And you wonder about Vazquez's pace as it seems to be slowing down a bit. Figueroa's attack, I'm sure, having a lot to do with that, but a grueling fourth round, and both of them showing the effects.
Off the head, that's the way to listen.
And we've said, Al, I think you mentioned it, that, you know, Figueroa has paid a price for his aggressiveness in the past. His defense not always where it needs to be, but with that many punches, you're not surprised.
Yeah, he says you're going to get hit when you're this aggressive.
And Vazquez, that beautiful combination there, the right hook from southpaw, right hook to the body. Figueroa showing his stuff from southpaw and orthodox in the fourth frame.
Break time.
Let's go to Brian Custer.
Okay, Mo, thank you. The champion, John Royale Casamero, joins me now. Of course, he got a third-round stoppage, defending his title over Duke Micah. He joins us now from the dressing room. Stephen Lunas Jr., his interpreter, is with us. Stephen, first question for the champion is, first time for him fighting in the United States. What do you think about his performance?
Yes, sir. You know, I'm surprised because this is first show to the world and Showtime. Because, you know, I work hard training because I want to show in the world, because, you know, I show who the Cuadro Alas is strong, you know.
Well, listen, you said your power would be the difference in this fight. Were you surprised you stopped him in just 3 rounds?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised, you know, because, you know, I'm not, my opponent is so, you know, is a good boxer because that's undefeated, you know.
Well, congratulations, champ. We appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you in the future. Mo, back to you.
All right, thanks, BC. Casamero continuing to cash in his weight class, and here we now resume. This is round number 5 of this 122-pound title tilt. Figueroa defending against a very game Damien Vazquez.
And that last round clearly was kind of a fight-changing round in a way. The first rounds I thought were fairly close. Who won them remains to be seen, but that last round was a dominant round for Figueroa.
Figueroa continuing to attack the body along the ropes, backing Vazquez back along the ropes, and now Vazquez with a veteran move, trying to clinch, trying to thwart the offensive onslaught.
Trying to stop the pace of Figueroa. I mean, it's quite the fast one, and obviously tiring one for Vazquez. Vazquez wants to keep it in the outside, but it's almost impossible with Figueroa throwing punches from different angles.
You're watching the second of 5 championship bouts coming your way tonight on this unique twin bill pay-per-view. Mauro Ranallo alongside Hall of Famer Al Bernstein, 4-time champion Abner Martes, joined by Brian Custer, Steve Farhood, and our Showtime crew here on pay-per-view. and a fantastic start to the fights thus far tonight.
There's Vazquez with a good jab. That punch has not been getting home in the last round or so, and he also languishing on the ropes, and that's where Figueroa feasts. You know, Vazquez was a bantamweight for the first 3 years of his career. Then his last 7 fights, he moved up, and you know, can he punch in this weight class with big punchers? That's the question.
Shocking decision to give Vazquez a title opportunity, but he is looking to make the most of it, and yes, is beginning to feel the attack of Brandon Figueroa, but so far with 45 seconds left in the 5th, he's still trying to win this fight, stay in this battle.
Yeah, he's game, and he's throwing, you know, more than his share of punches. He's thrown more than Figueroa in this round, and has had a decent comeback round from a disastrous 4th round. I'm not suggesting he's winning, but he's done better.
Impactful jab from Figueroa a moment ago, and now switches back to southpaw, lands the left hand.
10 seconds, this for the bout, 10.
We are sailing through this 122-pound title tilt between the champ Brandon Figueroa and again Vazquez.
Shouldn't have given him that round.
Don't give him a chance to come back.
Cut, right eye punch.
Already in the 6th round.
Respira hondo,
He doesn't want to fight anymore. Keep breathing. All right, let's get those.
Don't be sluggish, okay? Keep your hands up. Don't go in there with your hands down. Come on. Let's go. You got him.
They would bang heads. Luckily, as you see him kind of pull Vazquez inside Figueroa, and the heads bang together, but it didn't create any major cuts, which is we're thankful for.
Seconds out, mouthpiece in. Let's go, everybody out.
A thrilling tempo to this title bout as we begin round 6, scheduled for 12. Secondary 122-pound belt as Damien Vazquez challenging Figueroa now. Figueroa, his corner, maybe alluding to the fact that he gave Vazquez that round.
Yeah, they're suggesting it. You know, I had mentioned that it was a decent comeback round for Vazquez. Whether he won it, you know, that's another question. But they didn't like the fact that Figueroa kind of let him back into it. You know, neither Vazquez has never been 12 rounds. This was their schedule for 12. And Figueroa was in his last fight in that exciting draw with Seha. So he has the edge in that department. A moment ago, Vazquez threw a right hook. He doesn't throw that punch very often.
And Vazquez getting back into this fight. We've seen that jab again, triple jab.
You like the pace, you like the action, you really appreciate the technique.
Well, we talk about how Figueroa loves to go to the body, and boy, has he ever. You see him very much outlanding Vazquez in that department. And Vazquez, as I mentioned, normally lands about 50% of his punches to the body.
I'm surprised by that because I thought Vazquez maybe landed a little more to the body.
Yeah, it seemed like earlier he was certainly trying to.
Whoa, Figueroa tagging Vazquez, but the question is, can Vazquez hurt Figueroa? Punching, but it's Figueroa whose punches carry more impact and do more damage.
I think that the only way that Vazquez can hurt Figueroa if he continues to work with the body. Every time Figueroa goes in, Vazquez will throw a sneaky body shot in, and believe me, those do damage.
Vazquez is mixing up how he uses his right hand, which is good. He's throwing the jab, but he's also throwing some right hooks, which he did not do earlier in the match.
There's a mouse under the right eye of Vazquez that Figueroa is going to try to make a red, I'm sure, as the damage taking its toll on the underdog challenger, Damien Vazquez. Under 30 seconds left in the 6th at close quarters, double jab from southpaw by Figueroa before they get tangled in the ropes.
He mentioned from the southpaw stance. He stayed in that stance a lot more than he said he was going to, but I think the reason is he's been fairly effective.
Not a lot of defense, but boy, it is an all-Mexican battle that is delivering the action. We're at the midway point of this title fight, and coming up in the first of our 2 main events tonight, the Charlo twins headlining their first pay-per-view, and Jermall Charlo 5-0 with 3 knockouts at middleweight, defending the title against Sergey Derevyanchenko. Charlo wants to prove that he is the man at middleweight, and he faces by far his stiffest test at 160. Derevyanchenko, a decorated amateur career, an Olympian who has a pressure style that, well, gave Triple G Daniel Jacobs fits. He came up short in those quests for the titles, but he feels that tonight is the culmination of all the work that he has put in. He would like to walk out of the fight sphere the new 160-pound champion.
Seconds out.
What a main event coming up. 2 main events that really deliver not only in the start but the quality of the fights. We're going to have a unification fight in our second main event between Jermall Charlo and Jason Rosario. But there we begin the second half of this championship affair. Brandon Figueroa against Damien Vazquez. The champ Figueroa in the white and blue, Vazquez in the black, white, red, and green.
And you know, we're watching one of the 122-pound champions, his version of a title, Figueroa taking on who's turned out to be a very good fighter. We're going to see Luis Nery and Alameda and also Danny Romano, former unified champion, in the second part of our doubleheader. You can kind of compare all these 122-pound fighters.
It's been a pitched battle. Let's bring in the man with the keen eye, our unofficial scorer, Steve Farhood.
Mo, when Figueroa gets into a rhythm as he is now, the judges love it because he just keeps coming and he keeps throwing punches. First couple of rounds of this fight were very close. How many jabs equal 1 power punch? Of course, there's no right answer to that question. It was Vazquez's jabs against Figueroa's power shots and body work, and I gave Figueroa the edge because he was throwing the harder shots.
It was expected that Figueroa would have the power advantage, but Vazquez remaining in the pocket, and after Vazquez committing to what he said, whether or not it's the most, the strategy behooves him, he's delivering his guts, his heart, and he's trying to impose his will on a talented Brandon Figueroa.
Of course, I think Figueroa is throwing a lot, but Vazquez in this round is throwing and landing the more clean punches.
There's a straight left hand by Vazquez a moment ago that was a very good shot.
Well, it's the fall season. Leaves are changing colors, and so is Damien Vazquez's face. The swelling, the redness. He is feeling the wrath of Brandon Figueroa, and yet, having said that, throws a furious combination upstairs. Not a lot of impact, Al, but still delivering.
You know, no matter what happens in the rest of this match or how the decision goes, at 23 years old, Damien Vazquez is demonstrating he's a good fighter at this weight class, and I think letting people know that he can be a contender.
Yeah, future is bright in terms of these lower weight classes. A couple of 23-year-olds here and there. Figueroa digging to the body.
I mean, we still have half of the fight left, and I think Vazquez is somewhat, making a case that he is coming back.
He's had himself a good round 7, and of course Figueroa's done good work as well.
Vazquez from a fighting family, his father, and of course we talked about his legendary uncle, and man, summing up some of the Israel Vazquez heart and determination, he will do well.
It's for the bell.
Going to the body again. Good round for the challenger.
We'll look back at that round, and as we pointed out, Vazquez had some good moments.
Right eye.
throwing this nice straight left hand that kind of clipped the chin of Figueroa, and then came back with a better one. And you see, those punches are not having a dramatic impact on Figueroa. He's hanging in there, but still they're scoring.
You got to throw a lot, and quickly. Do it quick. That's going to win us if we just keep going nice and quick against this guy. Try combinations really nice and quick. Be a rapid fire. Let's go.
In between rounds, ringside physician Dr. Michael Schwartz examined Damien Vazquez.
Water. Get the water up.
Yeah, he's good.
Over there. Over there. Over there.
Damien,
Ready?
regroup real
Ready?
quick. Sustain your move.
Box.
So the ringside doctor, Michael Schwartz, wanting to make sure the bruises, the cuts on Vazquez's face were not egregious. And remember, only the referee can stop the fight, although Figueroa is going to try to stop the fight here.
Break! Let him go. Just like that, Brandon, again.
Figueroa went all the way to 6 here on this one. I mean, there's times he lays back, he waits, and that's when Vazquez gets in, the punches and is able to do some damage. But when Figueroa is as aggressive as he is being right now, he's a dangerous fighter.
I love the way Figueroa is using variety and his punch placement. Very crisp, very technical, Al Bernstein.
Yeah, and he does it as both a lefty and a righty, and again switching back to lefty there again. He's just very good at this style, and really the only issue he may face are some of these defensive lapses.
Yeah, and I was going to say defense be damned, probably much to the delight of the fans watching on pay-per-view. Is again an all-Mexican battle. It's about who's got more machismo, and they are just showing their guts here. And Figueroa, though, continues to hurt Vazquez along the ropes.
Vazquez got hurt by a left hand just a moment ago. That was a big, I think, a fight-changing punch.
And you have to wonder how much longer Damien Vazquez, who's put up a valiant effort, how much more punishment? There it is. Oh, I thought the referee might be stopping it, but instead he's admonishing Figueroa. I didn't see anything bad there, Al.
No, I don't know what that was for.
Back of the head, I guess.
Yeah, it could have been.
But Vazquez is getting pummeled.
Yeah, this has been a dominant round for Figueroa, and Vazquez was hurt badly by a left hand.
That was just below the belt, Abner.
Yeah, that was a good body shot, and Figueroa, like I said, he just picked it up in this round. I guess he saw something already in Vazquez getting tired, and I mean it's just a matter of time, really.
Figueroa's landed 46% of his punches according to show stats in this round. That's extraordinary, and he's thrown almost 90 punches already. So it's been really an amazing performance by him in this round.
Under 30 seconds remaining in the eighth. You wonder if in 20 seconds, if Vazquez survives the round, if his corner might indicate to the referee that they've had enough. I don't want to, Al, I mean, in this day and age, you want to protect the fighters.
Watch out, you got 10 seconds, let him go. Watch the elbow, break! Step back. This is for the bell. Break! Step back, top.
You need to rest, you need to move, save your rest. Do not rest on the ropes, and do not rest while you're hitting, okay? You need to hit, and you got to move. If you're inside, you got to use angles, bro, okay? You're doing great. Keep doing good boxing, keep boxing, doing, okay? All right, come on, bro. Use your head, okay? This is what's going to win you the fight, is the intelligence, bro. Come on. Okay, the dude is tired.
Gotta cover your nose. Gotta cover your nose, please. Thank you.
I had sinus surgery, bro. It's hard for me to breathe.
This is where Figueroa got him against the ropes and I mentioned how important the left hand would be early on in the keys, and it was important. Figueroa landing 2 dominant left hands, and earlier in the round he had landed another left that really hurt Vazquez, and so that punch making a big difference for him.
Round number 9, Damien Vazquez allowed to leave the corner, but immediately gets swarmed by Figueroa.
Hold the back of the head.
You know, Vazquez was favored to beat Juan Carlos Payano, who we were going to see against Danny Roman tonight. He lost that fight, and he lost it by a lot. But you can see the flashes of why Vazquez is considered a good young fighter, despite the fact that he's taking a beating here now from Figueroa. And Brandon Figueroa, he just doesn't slow down. You know, he just keeps going, and it's like the Energizer Bunny.
And like you mentioned now, I mean, he's a young fighter, young kid. He lost his undefeated last year. He was 15-0. I mean, he's a great fighter, but at the end of the day, fights like this are fights that take the most.
And again, he's only 23 years old, and you want to, you know, preserve an opportunity. I think a great lesson here on pay-per-view and a great outing, but he's now just continuing to eat plenty of unfiltered punches.
Yeah, that left hand, you know, his right eye is swollen. Can he even see the left hand coming? And Figueroa is landing it with impunity.
And the cliche is the one that hurts the most is the one you do not see coming, and his peripheral vision compromised and a buffet of jabs. And, you know, Figueroa says he's a technical pressure fighter, and he is showing that here tonight. But again, against a level of opposition after that was expected, he'd be doing this to him.
And now he's just taking his punches and landing that will.
Well, referee, that's one way to knock down Brandon Figueroa. He's never been knocked down until then.
And he walked in with a body shot right in the center of Vazquez. That one did damage.
Yes, I'm an empath, and yes, I know this is the hurt business, but boy, Damien Vazquez is getting hurt.
Yeah, this fight should be close to being stopped. It really should. Even though he's fighting back.
Yes, very gutsy, and again, I'm not, you know, I'm trying to just help the guy in terms of what the punishment he's taking. Now, after, of course, this is a title fight, maybe the one and only one he's going to get.
Yes, but I mean, it's not like he has power to, you know, get back into this fight. You know, it's just one of those fights you just got to take the L and make sure that you recover well. You don't want to take too much punishment.
And I don't want to prognosticate. He's still in it, and until the referee deems otherwise, this title fight continues. Final 10 seconds. Vazquez surviving another round. Surviving being the operative word.
Yeah, it's taking a lot of punches, guys.
Come on.
Okay, corner. He gets in trouble and stop.
Damien should be to stay the fuck off the ropes. You understand me? How many rounds is it?
This is 10.
I'm sorry.
What's going to be?
Listen, champ, it just has to be quick. You have to be quicker.
Yeah, we're going to watch.
They're going to stop the
It's going to
fight.
show us something this round. Too much punishment.
This is it.
Quickness, come on. They're going to stop the fight.
Just move around. Stay away from it. Rest. Okay? Put it down. Stay away from it. Stay away from it. Rest.
Seconds out. Seconds out.
With all due respect to Vazquez corner guys, telling him it's going to take quickness after the battle that he's been through. It's going to take a lot more than that.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Sure.
Water.
Show us something, okay? I don't want you getting hurt.
Okay, over there, David.
Dr. Michael Schwartz, you know, he show me some watching intently. Al, finish your thoughts, sir.
Yeah, you know, I think that the issue is that he showed that quickness. He showed it in those first 6 or 7 rounds of this fight, first 6 rounds or so, and then he just hasn't been enough to keep the hard-charging Figueroa off him.
And the body work by Figueroa, of course, is a big reason why Vazquez is slowing down. This is round number 10, scheduled for 12 for Brandon Figueroa's 122-pound strap. And after just when we are counting out Vazquez, he continues to fight.
I think the corner might know something that we don't know. That he might still have something left, but I mean, my God, he was taking a punishment in that last round. He's trying. I mean,
this is the sport where you can come back at any time.
But even so, even if he wants to come out, he's going to take a lot of punishment.
Yeah.
Well, he came out in this round and tried to box, and he didn't move the true jab, but eventually in this round, as we're seeing now, Figueroa is going to catch up with him.
I don't want to be a sadist, but Figueroa needs to target. There he is with that right eye, because he's putting it on Vazquez now. Vazquez trying to fire back. Going to the body, and that's enough. Tremendous fight, incredible performance, and as expected, Brandon Figueroa was expected to defeat Damien Vazquez, but Vazquez came here to be more than just an opponent, gave it the fight of his life, and falls short against a guy who is a whirling dervish, Al Bernstein.
Yeah, they created an exciting fight, and that's what you always get with Brandon Figueroa, because he's an exciting offensive fighter, and oftentimes he takes punches in return. And that's exactly what happened here this evening. And Damien Vazquez gave probably his best performance as a pro, which is what made this into an exciting fight. And an appropriate stoppage.
Give him a sip of water.
And in the last round we saw, you know, in the last couple rounds, Damien Vazquez taking a lot of punishment from Figueroa. Figueroa staying as a lefty, and there again, there's the left hand. We said it right at the beginning with the keys to victory. That left hand was going to be a big weapon for Figueroa, and it was. And then this is where we're going to see stoppage. And this came, I think, mostly because of a body shot, a wicked body shot that Figueroa is going to land downstairs. That's one, and then here comes the left hook. And I mean, that caved him in. That was as good a left hook. And Abner, you've thrown a couple good left hooks to the body. You know what it looks like. That was a great punch.
That was a great punch. And it was just not one, like you said. It was two body punches. And, I mean, great job from the referee.
Brandon Figueroa ready for his close-up, and of course his opponents want to be wary, getting close to the punching machine, recording his sweet 16th stoppage victory, improving to 21-0-1, setting him up for more unification opportunity would be nice, like we're getting later tonight.
And you see the numbers. You know, landing 48% of his power shots, again, that's everything other than a jab, and throwing 810 punches, though almost matched by Vazquez in terms of the numbers thrown. Very impressive by Figueroa.
And a gritty effort by the challenger as he took a licking, kept on ticking as much as he could, but it's Brandon Figueroa remaining undefeated here tonight at the Fight Sphere. All right, let's make it official with Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Well, fans, we have the time of 1 minute 18 seconds of round number 10. Our referee in charge, Gary Rosato, stops the contest. He is the winner by way of technical knockout, and still the WBA Super Bantamweight Champion of the World, Brandon the Heartbreaker Figueroa.
Heartbreaker is a show stats record breaker at 122, and Brandon Figueroa holds on to his 122-pound belt here tonight in the second of our 5 championship affairs.
Brandon, over here.
We'll go back to the keys to victory, and one of the things that I put in there were the left hands, and most of them came from the left-handed stance of Figueroa. The straight left hands, that one was toward the end of this fight, and he just kept using his jab as kind of a rangefinder and getting those straight left hands in. It was a recurring theme, and in watching video of Vazquez, you knew that was the punch he was susceptible to. He'd been hit with it before. Payano had done it, and Figueroa was able to do it here, even doubling there with the left hand.
A battering ram for a jab from Brandon Figueroa. Time to check in with our unofficial scorer, Steve Farhood.
Mo, very interesting score in that John McKay scored the ninth round 10-8, despite the fact that there was no knockdown. That gives you an idea of how much punishment Figueroa was dishing out. As you look at my card again, I was generous to Vazquez in the middle round, 6 and 7. The judges gave Figueroa those rounds, and we all got to the same point in the scoring, just in different ways, but clearly Figueroa dominant, and 88-83 on my card, and the same on the card of Dontrella, and even wider on the cards of Feldman and McKay.